Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that things with you, how can show your toaster, right? So right now in this video, I'm going to complete our this edit portions and also want to update it. So if you want to working with this edit portion, so here that is our view. That means the user view. Here we have to edit it with a specific one of the ID. Remember? So now I want to apply the same condition. So first of all, I want to go to our view page. So that is our view page. And admin master, we don't need this. So now into the user view, that means the view user page. Here there is actually our edit button and the delete button, right? So first of all, I want to create one of the route. So here I want to create one of the route for the edit as a UT route, and I want to create one of the route name as a users. Okay, users edit. So this type of the route. And also, as I told you, we have to edit it with a specific one of the ID. That means if you go to our user table, click as a refresh. So right now they have the data. I have to update it. That means I have to first of all edit it with a specific this ID, right? So if you want to access this ID, I have already get all the data and take the things with this variable. And right now I am already to the for each, right? So now with this user, I want to access our this user table. This ID field, right? So now if you want to use it, so that is our user, and here after this with this user I want to access our user table ID field, right? Perfect. So that's all you have to do. So now if you click as a save all, and after that if you go there, click as a refresh. So now it's showing as a row out. Actually I didn't create this route, so I show you. Like that is our route will be as a user edit with a specific one of the ID. Now go to our web route, and with the web route area I want to create new one. It should be as a obviously get method. I simply paste it. So that will be as I name it as edit. Okay, edit, and then after that edit there have also one of the ID, right? So after that I want to add one of the ID. So that will be as ID. So into the user controller I want to create one of the method as a user edit. And our name will be here. I name it as a user edit. I copy it, and here I simply paste it. Okay, so now if you click as a save all, now if you go there, click as a refresh, and now if you put your cursor here, you can see it's now showing as edit/1. That means one ID, there is a 2 ID, there is a 3 ID, and there is a 4 ID. Right? So now we have to get one of the edit page, and then we have to get one of the specific row ID data. So right now if you want to do that work, so that is our edit URL with the ID, that is in our user controller. I have to create this method as a user edit. So now go to our user controller. Into the user controller here I have to create one of the new method as a public, and then function, and then our user edit, right? And into the user edit here I have to also add one of the ID, because of all here I have already added one of the ID. So that will be our requested ID. So now I want to add this. That will be our requested ID, right friend? And now after that I want to find out first of all this appropriate this ID. Okay, so if you want to get this ID, you can do that work very easily. I take one of the variable as edit data, and then right now I am using that eloquent ORM. So that is our model. That means that with this user model I want to find our this data. Okay, and that means the ID. So that is actually our requested ID. I just simply find this ID. Okay, so now I get this data and pass it into this variable. So now I want to return it. Then the return one of the view page. Into the return view page I want to actually visible all the data, right, with the value. So now into the backend, that is our user tab folder, and I want to create one of the page as a edit underscore user. So this type of one of the page I want to create, and with the page area I want to compact our this data. That means this edit data. Okay, here I just simply pass it. Perfect. So now we have to create this edit user. Now go to our backend user folder. So backend user folder here, and to create one of the new file, and I just click as a save as, and I just name it as a edit user.blade.php. Okay, so into the edit user, what exactly we have to do? We have to actually simply if you go to our add user, So it should be just like this type of one of the form, and here I only want to do unto visible all that our value, that means a specific requested ID value data I want to visible it, right? So that's the things we have to do. So right now that will be just like our add user. That means this add user, I copy everything from here, and now in our edit here I simply paste it. Okay, so I just simply paste it in particular that position. So right now that will be as a not add user, it will be as update user. Okay, and also the route will be needed for the update. And first of all, I want to visible all that value. That means the user, into the user we don't need this required, rather than you can also take it, but I want to add one of the value into the value area. I have to show all that our data. So I have already get our all the data, and I get specific requested data, take the things with this variable, and here I pass it in our edit user page. So now with this edit user we can actually visible it, right? So with this edit user I want to visible our database field name as a name, right? So that is actually the name. So if you go to the structure, I want to visible our this name, right? So if you want to visible it, you have to visible it with the value as I told you before, and there is a name, there is an email. Also I want to visible that email. I want to visible that is a value will be as a email. Okay, that will be as an email. And then password. So here I don't want to use that password. For the password I will create another change password option for the user. Okay, so right now I don't want to use it. Better here I close it. Okay, that means that is actually the depth, and that is actually our call md6. So right now I want to close it. Okay, so now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, now if you go there and now click as a refresh, and now go to our index, that means that is actually our index page with that view user. And now if you click as a this one, okay, that means the Kazi, and now I click as edit. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly getting our this role, but role is not selected, right? For this Kazi I have already selected our this role, so here we have to update it. But our name, you can see our name is perfectly getting that name with the value, and also it's perfectly getting our email address, right? So here I have already passed it with the value our email, and also I pass it with the value our name, right? So now I want to actually also make updated this portion. That means when it should be selected as a admin, that will be as a admin. When it should be selected as a user, then it should be selected as a user. So if you want to do that work, you can do it very easily. I show you, like if you go to our database, with the database, if you go to that browse, into the browse area, that is actually our field, and you can see that is actually our user type. And into the user type, as I told you, when you insert this data, I pass that value as a admin, rather than it should be passed that value as a user, right? And you can see it's now insert this data as a admin rather than as a user. So now I want to put one of the condition here. When it should be get this data as a user, it should be make it as a selected. When it should be get it as a user admin, then it should be selected as a admin. Okay, I want to put this simple condition. That means that is actually our value. So here I want to add this condition. Okay, I want to add first of all here I want to add this. First of all here with this I get all the data with this edit. That means a specific one row data, not that all data, a specific one of the row data. I take the things with this variable, and here I pass it in our edit, right? So now with this edit, that means with this edit data I want to access our field name, our database field name, our database user field name as a user type, right? So now I use that as a user, and then type. So when this user type will be equal as a admin, okay, I will make it as a admin. When it should be equal as a admin, then it should be as a selected. So I make it as a selected, selected. Okay, so that means it should be as a selected, else it should be as a null. Okay friends, so that is the condition we have to apply. So with this edit data I get a specific one of the row ID data, right? And with this row ID data I want to first of all access our this user type. So into the user type it should be checked this is inserted as admin or the user. So when it should be as a admin, That means when this user type will be as a equal admin, then it should be as a selected, else it should be as empty, right? So now I want to apply the same condition. Later I copy it. I want to apply the same condition for this value, and here I paste it. Okay, so here I paste it. So that will be with this user type, and I want to check it. Is that as a user? When this user type will be equal to user, then it should be as a selected, else it should be as a null. That's all you have to do. Okay, friend. So that is the main functionality you have to apply. So now if you want to check it, I show you. If you now click as a save all. So right now for this Kazi, I have used that selected as a user, right? So now if you click as a refresh, yes, you can see it's now check it into the database area. That is actually the user. So when it should be as a user, when you get this data as a user, then automatically you can see it's now updated as a user. I hope it's very much clear to you, friend. So now if you go to our view user again, so right now that is admin is selected by the role as a admin. Click as edit. Now you can see it's now role is automatically selected as a admin, email address, and our username. Perfect. So right now we successfully complete our edit portion. So now we have to update it. So better I want to change that button name. That means button value in our edit user. Here I want to change that as a button value. I make it as update. Okay, I make it as update. Now click as a save all, and now if you click as a refresh, now you can see it's now becoming updated. So from to this position I want to update. That means if you want to change that role, you can change it. You can change that email address, you can change that username, and after that if you click as update, then this will be updated. Okay, so how can do that work better? I want to continue this process in our next video. I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.